Hello, my name is Daniel Crane, and I am the program director for the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. And we are back with another global industry spotlight. We are streaming live out of the Comcast Business Startup Studio, a space started at 2112, Chicago's first music, film, and tech incubator. We are very excited that the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship has launched a new membership. So if you can go to cceglobal.org, check out what we're doing. With this membership, you get free access to events. You can have mentorship time with the CCE team. You get discounts on products and all types of things. So again, go to cceglobal.org to check that out. We also are launching our Music Bloom series that is coming up. Our first one will be July 20th at the Black Room, which we're very excited about. We'll be having one basically every month through November. So go to cceglobal.org, check out all the things we have happening. It's very exciting. So in this episode, we'll be discussing with Sylvain Martineau. He's passionate about revolutionizing the music industry. Sylvain founded Hall Up, a live and remote music production company. Hall Up's mission is to offer musicians access to top-notch music professionals and a unique in-studio experience at each step of the creative and production side of their music projects. This year, Sylvain moved to the U.S. for business opportunities and is a 2112 member, so we're really excited to feature him today. But I'm looking forward to our conversation. Everyone, Sylvain.
Hey.
So let's get right to it. You moved to the U.S. To 2112 to build a business, but let's kind of go back a little bit. Talk about what led you up to starting Hall Up.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. How did we get into building Hall Up? So I'm going to start by disappointing you by saying
please disappoint me.
We actually, so my co-founder and I, Corentin, we're both French.
Yeah.
We started this company together. He's one of my best friends, actually. And we do not come from the music industry. We had completely different backgrounds. He studied architecture, and I myself come from mechanical engineering. So it was just something out of our passion, which is music. So we both wanted to build a business. We both wanted to do something in music. And we started off building something that we wanted for ourselves. And it started back in Barcelona. Don't ask me why. And we were just in Barcelona. It's a cool city.
Yeah.
And we were talking to a lot of people. We wanted to get familiar with the business. And it was just building around it, meeting a lot of industry professionals, talking to label managers, talking to artists, engineers, and started to create our platform ourselves.
Yeah.
And as we went on it, actually, we just noticed a lot of opportunities here in the US. So we thought about potentially grow the business here in the United States. We took an incubator program here in the United States called Media Tech Ventures, actually related to 2112, which I definitely recommend. And it was something that we needed to do. And at some point I said, all right, let's do this. So I went here in Chicago, saw 2112.
Yeah.
And say, okay, I'm staying here for a while then.
So going back to just kind of the original idea, talk about what Hall Up does, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about just how it kind of came to. It's interesting. I didn't know that you were a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
That's why we have these conversations. It's very interesting that you have a mechanical engineer and an architect who love music wanting to build a platform. But just talk kind of about the baseline of says, if someone comes to you and says, Sylvain, what is Hall Up? What do you tell them?
Okay. So Hall Up is I would say founded with the mission to empower artists with the resources and the connections they need to create and thrive from home. So we are a platform that allows artists to connect with music professionals, so songwriters, producers, engineers, and collaborate online and have real-time support at each step of their creative process. So we have a virtual production solution where they can just log in and have this real-time feedback, real-time input as they're creating music from home. So it's really about, giving those studio services, professional studio services accessible from anywhere, and having those professionals also available to you to create. basically.
And in those initial conversations, which would basically be your market research, did you discover that people were really looking for this? They, to be able to make music now is a lot easier than it was. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of different DAWs, and so people have access, right,
Yeah.
to be able to create their own sound. So what did you discover when you were kind of talking with people about, hey, we have this idea we want to put together? What do you think?
So it's actually because of the way now that people make music, like you mentioned, there's more and more stuff accessible, whether it's gear, whether it's softwares, whether anything that helps you make music from home. You don't necessarily need to go to a professional studio to make your music. So we kind of wanted to take it off all those restrictions, I would say constraint of going to professional studios with time, budget or
Right.
location, all that kind of stuff. So we talked to a lot of artists who were making music from home, but sometimes because it's DIY, they tend to do everything by themselves. And it's very complicated to do everything by yourself as well. If you
Yeah.
want to kind of improve your sound, if you want to grow basically in your music, the best way to do it is by collaborating with people. So that's where we focused into first connecting them with the right person for achieving their goals. So yeah, it's pretty much how it first started. We talked also to a lot of engineers or producers, people that are familiar with remote solutions, remote collaborations, that are experiencing also the issue of people doing everything by themselves. So there's more and more tools now that exist for collaborating online, and it's kind of our mission to spread the word on those solutions. Like, you don't have to do it's great to do it in person, of course, but there's lots of stuff that exists that allows you to benefit also those advantages from home.
Yeah, I definitely see. I mean, one is you can have international collaborations, right? You can
Mhm.
be working with different people from all over the world. Two, it's a great kind of revenue stream for producers or music makers who
Mhm.
have really spent the time becoming masters at their craft, right? This is another thing that they can do. And for people who are looking to put out music, I think there's something to be said about working with somebody else, like even if it's remotely with like a real person,
Yeah.
to craft the perfect song instead of just like an AI app, which you
Yeah.
toggle back and forth with, which also works. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, it's very interesting also.
but
Yeah.
at the same time, there is
Yeah.
something there's something about the music making process. I think
Mhm.
that when you do connect with other humans, whether that be
Yeah.
remotely or in person, that
Yeah.
kind of gives you this sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um,
We like that human aspect of collaborating. That's what we actually try to promote as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so, I mean, I think that starting a company and moving to another country is pretty wild.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I entrepreneurship, being a part of a startup, if it's your first or your second, I mean, it takes a certain, uh, I think, a certain amount of courage,
Mm.
and kind of belief in yourself and belief in kind of being open to where it leads, right?
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
as Sylvain and I were talking earlier, for new companies, they are charting their own path.
Mm.
There's not a path laid for them, right? You're trying to show people this is the path,
Yeah.
which I think is very difficult. So talk about kind of what you have learned, in starting this company, or some of the challenges that you've had, or anything to share kind of with, another entrepreneur who may be in the same position as you, who's,
Yeah.
wanting to, start a company or go to another country.
So
Don't do it.
No, do it. Definitely
Do it.
do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right.
Definitely
We
do
got
it.
positive. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's terrifying to do all this, to be honest. Really. But
There it is,
it's
folks. Yeah.
but it's great. I mean, what kind of feedback can I give on this?
Well, I guess not even feedback, like your personal experience.
Yeah.
I think for me, I actually prefer just hearing people's experiences than them
Yeah.
giving feedback on me. Because
Okay.
it's like,
Yeah.
like what have you experienced since you've taken the leap, you and your partner,
Mhm.
the architect and the mechanical engineer.
Yeah. So if we could start it all over, actually, I would do lots of stuff different.
Okay.
The first thing is that I noticed is, and actually I learned this by going through the incubator program, is that whenever you want to do something, if you have an idea, there's no reason for you to try to do it alone. There's no reason for you to hide it from other people. and there's no reason to try to have like the revolutionizing idea that's going to change everything. And if it's not that, it's not going to work, because there's spaces for everyone, whether you want to do, and some ideas already exist, and there's no reason for you to succeed in this. It's just like there's something I like, which is there's room for everyone as long as you bring your chair. So it's true. There's like a bunch of pizza places that exist, and they all work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it could be applied to a lot of stuff. So
I like that analogy.
yeah,
I'm gonna pocket that one.
So it's basically, if you have an idea, that's great. Start talking about it with everyone. Trying to surround yourself with as much people as you can, because nobody's going to steal your idea, because it's so complicated to validate it. And if nobody's going to go through the trouble of taking your idea, validate it for you, and then build their businesses, they're going to maybe follow you once you've achieved that and made your name for yourself, you know. But yeah, people usually tend to like what you do and try to take part of it and try to help you any way they can actually, if they actually believe in it. So that's one thing we noticed when we started talking with lots of people. We went through asking just a bunch of questions, pitch at the end our idea, and they were like, yeah, that sounds a very cool idea. I want to learn more. I want to help you guys. I want to connect you with somebody. And it just grew as a community like this. So this is the first thing that I would do differently, is try to talk to as much people as I can first, and grow together. The second is that you don't actually need a product to start validating your idea. You can just talk to people, and at some point realize that something will work, and just build afterwards your product around it, around the feedback that you've gained, you know. So
market research is really important.
There's no need for you to try to build first your platform. That's exactly what we did. We try to put first our platform, and then kind of talked afterwards also to a bunch of people. So it's we did everything all at once, which was very overwhelming. And we did that with our side jobs and everything.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot. But
I like this idea of finding out what the community really needs, testing out the ideas, and then kind of building around that instead of simultaneously building while testing out the community. That's really great advice.
Yeah, otherwise, I don't know, there's like so many things. It's a scary process. It's a long thing to do, but I don't know, it's very rewarding, and I do not regret it at all, because I actually quitted my job in mechanical engineering to do this full time.
Yeah.
And once I took that decision, it was all right. We got to do it, even though we don't know where we're going. We don't know how it's going to end up. But it's just so much exciting stuff that happened at the same time that would have never happened if I stayed with my current job in mechanical engineering.
Yeah. And are you, to be able to kind of support yourself, is it family and friends? Is it, your own money? Do you have, any kind of investment? I mean, how does it work, in France?
Yeah.
Are there are there opportunities that you've been able to capitalize or hear? I think that's always another thing of, people trying to figure out and balance, okay, well, I have a job and I'm doing the startup. When do I take that leap? And kind of, how you balance being able to support yourself.
Yeah. So we started with side jobs. So it was really, well, it was a side project first. So there was a main job and actually Hub, which was a side job. And we started off with also a crowdfunding campaign. We raised around, it was 12, how much is it in dollars? 12,000
euros.
Yeah, dollars.
$12,000.
And from family and friends, which helped us just run the platform, do a bunch of marketing stuff, try experiencing, because we were learning on the spot, and we still are.
Right.
But so that's where we went. And then when I decided to quit my job, it was actually governmental aid, financial aids, that allow me to stay on it and do it full time. And now I'm kind of on my own money, which is terrifying as well. And when I moved to the US right now, it's only on my full side money. And at some point it is difficult, because we're not on the stage where we're able to pay ourselves also. So it's doing like side jobs, doing everything you can to survive. But it's with the main focus of growing Hulk first. And I still like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I applaud that, because I think that, every founder kind of goes through this, unless you have serious backing or serious family money, trying to balance all of that because it's exciting, but at the same time, there's always this financial pressure.
Yeah.
Of course. Which of course is not the fun part to talk about. I feel like
Of
no
course.
one,
No, of course.
it's like-
Yeah,
but it's
sure.
an important thing, right?
Yes.
And you know, and also giving yourself the time, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I need to be able to build some revenue for myself, but also being able to have the time to really grow business because it takes time.
Yeah.
What has been for you? Just what have you enjoyed a lot about just the process of starting the company, of kind of being here in Chicago at 2112? Talk a little bit about just that.
What have I enjoyed in the process? Since I've moved here, or since
Yeah,
yeah.
or before too.
Um.
But we'll keep it simple. Since you moved here.
Okay. Since I've moved here, what did I like? So the mentality here is very different. I feel that back in France. I would say maybe in Europe also. It depends. When we grew also in Barcelona, it was different, but people here are a different breed.
What are you talking about?
It's true. It's like the mentality here. It's pretty amazing. Is you meet with someone, you've well, it's the first time you meet the person, and it's like, okay, what do you do, and how can I help you? And that
Mm,
is something truly powerful that I love here.
mm,
There's so many people that are interested, and like that could be in your network, that could or people can introduce you to someone else and say, hey, how you doing? You just shake hands, and it's like, okay, what do you do? Oh, that sounds cool. Let me get you connected with this guy who's going to help you doing this. And
mhm.
it's so natural. It's very, very natural doing this.
We call that the Scott Fetters.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that maybe it's the 2112 experience
That's the Scott
that I
Fetters
had.
experience.
The very first day that I arrived here, there was an event going on with Fort Knox right next door,
Yeah.
and I just met for the first time Stephanie,
Mhm.
and she told me, "Oh, we are having a showcase of different artist services companies. Would you like to grab your computer, have a booth? We'll have a bunch of musicians coming through." I was like, "Yeah, let's do this."
That's
Like, it's
awesome.
the very first thing that happened. I
Yeah.
was here lending, and it was the first hour that I was in Chicago. So I was like, "Of course, let's do this."
That's a good sign.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's for this. It's pretty
And in
amazing.
Europe, it's different. There's just a different
It was,
mentality than
at least for me, it was a
yeah.
different experience. It was a different experience. We had the opportunity, and we're still members of the Barcelona Music Tech Hub,
Yeah.
which is a growing
Right.
hub in Barcelona. All of it is in the name,
Mhm.
and it's pretty cool. They do great events, but it's just when you meet with people, and you have maybe similar interests, or there's a synergy. It's not that quick. It's not that
Mm.
I don't know, not growing together, but more individually, I felt.
Interesting.
So I like the idea of everybody's in the same boat here, and kind of just try to help each other out. And yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
There was one story that I liked a lot, which was when I was back in Barcelona. Actually, I met online with one of our now professional engineer on the
Mhm.
platform, part of our roster, and we just did the first session together. I met the guy. We found him a client, so we went through a session on our platform, and he said, "I love what you guys do. I want to be partners."
Mhm.
And I think a month later that I met him, he was his name's Adam Freeman,
Mhm.
and he's in LA. And a month later that I met him, it was like, okay, I'm going to CES, hosting a booth, and I would love you to be there at the booth, and we'll put your name on the booth, and you spend a week in Las Vegas. I was like, yeah, let's do this. So like this would have never happened
Wow.
otherwise. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. So I flew to Las Vegas, met him in person, and we stayed for a week in Las Vegas and hosting the booth together, and then meeting a bunch of people. And that was, I don't know, I felt it's the American way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the way to proceed. So
Well, I also think, I mean, I like that you said that's the American way.
mm,
That's and I think there's a lot of people here, right, that want to help. I mean, also your personality
mm,
and your business and just the way that you approach things. I mean, people feel welcome, right? It's
mm.
like, it's,
No, appreciate it.
no, I think in any business, right? It's person to person,
Yeah,
right? You're gonna want to help people that you just can relax with, that you can have conversations with, that you don't feel there's like pretentious and
yeah,
stuff like that or rushed. Um, and also, I mean, building a company is exciting and terrifying, and I think a lot of
yeah,
people realize that too.
yeah,
So it's like, all right, let's do this,
yeah,
and And I mean, especially in the music industry, for musicians, for producers to be able to make money,
Hmm.
and build revenue, I mean, it's a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Basically, like whatever points they're getting on streams, it's just not the same. I had a good friend of mine who did a bunch of stuff for Kendrick Lamar's
Nice.
Pimp a Butterfly record, and he said, "Man, if this was in the '90s, he would have,
Yeah.
you know,
Exploded.
exploded."
Yeah, for
But
sure. Yeah.
and I mean, it's not like he didn't make anything, but at the
Hmm.
same time, there's just a big difference,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And so I'm always a big fan of like talking about entrepreneurship and tech tools
Hmm.
as being like the perfect marriage when they work, right? So like you starting your own business, you doing your own thing, your own music management company or your own producer collective, right?
Sure.
And you kind of team those up with important tech tools like Haul Up or whatever you want to use, Lander, whatever you feel like is going to be helpful for
Yeah.
your business.
Yeah.
And those two things can really, I think empower people to build their own communities and build their
Yeah.
own businesses.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Being like building your company or building your artistry. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's very. It's. I feel it's the same path, especially in the music industry. We're all in the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I didn't even like consider myself an entrepreneur before I came here at 21. I didn't even really,
yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm.
I just got to pay rent.
Entrepreneur. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We can make fun of the word. I mean, it is a good word,
Yeah.
but I was impressed with the platform when we talked virtually. I was so glad that you came to 2112. As you talked about it being terrifying and just kind of you're on this adventure. How do you deal with like fear or doubt when it comes to just kind of the daily grind of starting a company?
I don't know. You just have to. You just have to. How do I deal with fear? I associate fear with stress.
Yeah.
Like very like it is the same for me. It's the
Yes,
same word.
right.
And how do I deal with it? I think it's very important to be surrounded with people and have, how do you call this, support, basically.
Yeah.
Support. So whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's the people you're working
Mhm.
working around with. So yeah, I would say be surrounded with as much people as you can. And yeah, it's terrifying because you don't know where you're going, but at least you're learning great stuff about it. So you need to step back sometimes and picture, well, have the big picture. Like, I don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
Get the bigger picture.
Right. The vision.
The vision.
Yeah.
Basically.
The vision of what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. What I usually do is for stress is if you can like go for a jog, go for it. And for me, it's like one thing that works great if there's like so much stuff going on and my brain is just about to explode.
Right.
I just go for a jog and I usually think, and everything naturally starts like making sense, and what to do first, what to do next. It's not that a big deal. Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine.
Right.
Put yourself in its awkward position. Sometimes it's something that you don't specifically like to do, but you'll have to do it. And once you'll do it, you'll grow from it. So it's just try to be more relaxed, which is a hard way to. It's
but
like
going for runs.
Yeah, going for runs.
Sitting and thinking about something is not a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I just sit here and think about it, it's gonna like I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
And like I don't
Let
think
me
so.
stay there 2 more hours. It will work. So no, it's really just like take some fresh air sometimes and talk to people about your problems. Like you're not alone. There's other people also in the same situation as you. Talk to your family. Talk to people that can help you. Sometimes you're not even looking for answers. You're just like sharing, and it's important because especially here now, I'm like by myself in the US, so I can talk to my co-founder, which I'm very how to say this, grateful because he's one of my best friends also. My wife's very supportive, which is awful. She's back in France. We're not together here in the US. So it's it can be very challenging, but yeah.
And your brother's here.
My brother's here for the week. And I'm very happy about this. But yeah, it's having
great.
support as much as you can.
So tell us kind of what's next for Haul Up right now. What are you guys working on? What are some of the things that we should be looking out for?
So right now it would be really about building our audience. It's more about reaching to as many artists as we can, helping them as much as we can. We are still in early stages where we do not have our own collaborative solution implemented in the platform, so we're building it. And the best way to do so is by having as much artists also go through the platform, have their feedback, see how we can improve it, have our producers, professionals also use the platform and see how we can build a better tool, have a better user experience. So we're in the process of really improving all this, building an audience. So we started doing also educational stuff.
Right.
We're launching a series of webinars that aims to help artists make music from home. It's just grow a community. We're doing a newsletter where we give tips on production or songwriting. The webinars are a great way also to just start meeting also the people that are part of Hollup, because Hollup is not only Corentin or myself, or it's also the professionals that are trusting us and would like to be part of us, you know? And it's the first like goals that we're setting ourselves right now
for this year.
Just building our community and just make reach out to as many people as we can. Basically.
Well, that's really exciting. Do you have a book, podcast, a song, an album, something that you can draw inspiration, or something that's relieves stress? Can be either or.
So podcasts, I don't really listen to podcasts, so I would not be able to recommend one.
No, quick side note: are podcasts as big in like France as they are here?
Yeah, it's so it's pretty big in the US, but people listen to podcasts in France.
I mean, in Europe,
of course,
but it's not at the same level. Where...
I feel like there's a lot of podcasts done here in the US, but the US is big. I mean, it's the size of Europe, so I mean, just I cannot just include France. Like it would be Europe in general.
Right.
But a book that was that helped us first. It was actually one of my co-founder that recommended me to it. It's When You Start Early and You're Looking to Validate Your Idea, like I was mentioning earlier. It's called The Mom Test. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I think it's from Rob Fitzgerald. I forgot the name.
Okay.
But
we'll look it up.
Yeah, The Mom Test it's called, and it's pretty cool because it's called that way because if you are you want to be an entrepreneur, you have an idea, and you go to your mom and you're going to say, "Hey, mom, I got a business idea." Of course, she's going to respond, "Oh, that's great, honey. You're so smart. It's a good idea." And that's not what you want when you're starting off. When you're starting off, you're looking for constructive feedback. You want to have people actually like
be honest,
talking crap about your idea. So the best way to do it is reach out to your potential target audience or people related to what you do, and just ask them a lot of questions. Take first contacts, speaking with them, and then ask them about their routine. What are they struggling with? What are they doing to how to say this? To confront those struggles. Is this a big of a problem really? Or are you just like doing something else to go around it, you know? And at the end, once you've established a long conversation with a person, you just maybe pitch your idea. And it's a way for you to validate your problem that you're solving without even asking them your idea. You know,
right. So you're asking questions around the thing you want to build.
That's it.
And then at the end, you're like, "Here, what about this?"
Yeah. Or you're not even you don't even have to ask the question, but you can. I mean, it's a good way also to have in the end a potential customer without even having your product ready. But it's a great way to just validate and without actually having to ask the question. So it was a great book. And it helped us build what is Hollup today.
I feel like you have to talk to so many people.
You
have to like to talk to people.
For us, I mean, we weren't from the industry, so we couldn't do anything without actually informing ourselves. So
it's a different perspective.
We had to know. So it was the best way to do it was go on LinkedIn and reach out to everyone, and just having calls with people. So it was a good one. And the other, I'm not. So I should actually. I'm trying to be better at this, but like trying to inform myself much with all the resources that exists on all the videos, all the podcasts. But a thing that I do all the time is I try to listen to as much as I can to experienced people or other people in general. I'm always asking for feedback on should I do this, should I do that. I feel like I don't know. I imagine that everybody's smarter than me, which is probably the case. And I just ask for not feedback, but like advices. So sometimes I even just call my dad asking, hey,
Right.
what do you feel about this? Which is completely unrelated to what he's usually doing. But it's very important to have other input and not just try to do it by yourself. And you have your gut feeling, which is great, which can help you make the choice afterwards. But it's very important to have other people's advice.
Oh man, yeah, I definitely agree. Especially people you trust, and who have experience, building companies. I definitely have a memory of calling my father about, I had a lot of things going on. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna hit, blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
And he was just like, "You're young, you patience," and I
Yeah.
was like, "What?" I'm like, I don't want to hear. That's not what I want to hear.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you want to hear this is the solution. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you just have
No.
to learn patience, which I'm learning,
Yeah,
which I'm good at.
We all
Right.
are.
It's tough. Well, Sylvain, it's so nice to actually talk with you here in the Global Industry Spotlight, to have you as a 2112 member, and also we've hung out a couple of times. So everyone, check out Haul Up. We'll put the link below. Sylvain is building something that's really cool, and I think it's going to be really useful for a lot of artists and also producers. So check that out. Again, thank you for tuning in to a Global Industry Spotlight. My name is Daniel Crane, and I am the program director for the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. We are streaming live out of the Comcast Business Startup Studio, located at 2112, Chicago's first music, film, and tech incubator. Thank you to Comcast Business and Shure for providing the tools necessary to make this podcast happen. This episode is specially sponsored by Dell Tech. So we appreciate all the support as we build a community of creative entrepreneurs here at 2112 and support them through our programming at CCE. Go to cceglobal.org. Check out what we're building. We just launched a new membership. We have some events coming up. It's going to be an exciting finish to the year. We hope you guys have a great week, and we will speak with you soon. Thanks again to Sylvain.
Thank you.